Just in relation to the team and the selection, 3 changes: Keith Earls, Cian Healy and Rob Herring. I would imagine they're pretty tight calls, but you seem to have gone with the more experienced player in each of those three positions. Is that an indication of what you feel is needed on Sunday?
Of course, I wouldn't have selected the side in the first place, but what I would say, competition for places is at its premium at the minute. Players are playing well. Players are getting a bit more game time, coming up to speed as far as that's concerned, and players are really putting a hand up in training, etc. So it's a difficult one this week, but it's the right one for this game against Scotland. What
are you expecting from Scotland on Sunday?
Much of the same as what we always get, a fierce competition. It's always a tough battle up there at Murrayfield. We know they're confident coming into this game. They always seem pretty confident, Scotland. Before that, they play against us anyway, and certainly they will be this time round. Obviously, they had a red card against Wales, so they played pretty well in that game. And then the game before that was a special performance by them at Twickenham. So we know that they'll be brimming and ready for us come Sunday.
Cheers, thank you.
Andy, I suppose specifically, why did you decide to go with Rob Herring ahead of Ronan Kelleher?
Rob's a great player for us. He's a big leader in the pack as far as set piece is concerned. He's very accurate in that regard. His work rate goes unforeseen quite a bit as well as far as his line running and his numbers as far as rucking's concerned. He's an important part of our pack, and he's going to lead us straight from the start. And then you look what we've got on the bench. We've got a strong bench, a dynamic bench that's hopefully going to pay to us towards the end of the game.
Bad weather conditions are expected. In general, going on what happened before in Ireland-Scotland games, will this require a more pragmatic, direct approach from Ireland?
I'm not sure whether the weather scenario is too bad. He's looking pretty good at this moment in time, so we'll expect the unexpected like we always would do up there in Edinburgh. I think it could be a little bit windy, but we're hoping the conditions are going to be good because both teams will want to play some rugby.
Hi Andy, you might just tell me about the scrum half selection. What went into the reasoning behind leaving Conor on the bench?
Connor's not played for 5 weeks, first and foremost, and Jameson's been playing really well, so he deserves his start.
One of the Scotland players was talking during the week. He said he kind of knows what to expect from Ireland. Have you any worries that Ireland are becoming predictable?
Which Scotland player was that? It wasn't a fly-off, was it?
No, it wasn't. I think it was Cummins.
No. Look, they can say whatever they want. It's irrelevant for us. What I know is that we're right up for this game. We know how difficult it's going to be going up to Murrayfield, but our boys are really brimming for a top performance come Sunday afternoon.
Thanks, best of luck.
Andy, can I ask you about the balance of the back row and the second row, and how key has Tag Byrne been for you in terms of getting the balance right, I suppose, with Hendy and James playing there as well, and allowing Will Connors to play, given that he can now play a bit of both?
I think it's I think the pack's got a bit of everything. I think it's got a bit of aggression about it. I think it's got a bit of know-how and nous regarding set piece. It's got dynamism as far as the ball carrying is concerned, and the back row combination adds to all those pieces and brings a little bit more as well. I think there's good energy within that back row, and good energy on the bench as well, ready to come on.
Sorry, go on.
Just quickly, I was just going to say, with that, the Scotland pack, a lot of talk about Hogg and Russell and how sexy they play, the type of rugby they play. Are their pack a little underrated in amongst it all?
100%, yeah. I think they're a great pack. I think they've got a good set piece. the rucking's pretty good, the ball carrying's pretty good, the two-man tackles are pretty good as well. So they'll be happy with how their forward pack's going at this moment in time. It's something that our lads are looking forward to getting the teeth stuck into.
Andy, just to follow up on Gavin's question, there was something Paul O'Connell mentioned during the week that maybe the role of the modern lock has changed a bit. Do you see that as well? Like, is what you're asking of the locks a little bit different? You look at Tide, like you can switch seamlessly into the back row. Has the role changed?
I suppose it's nice when you've got the variation within your pack to do so. But I suppose any given game plan, any given team, opposition team that you're playing against, it's nice to have those options and those variations. You know, I suppose you look at our pack and it's quite dynamic. It's mobile. It's aggressive. It's big as well. So we're quite happy with that.
Andy, if I could ask you, what's the difference you've seen from when you saw Scotland win in Twickenham there a couple of weeks ago to the Scottish team you looked after quite well at the end of last year? What's the step forward there in your eyes?
I think their strength is the belief that I think they 100% believe that they're on an upward curve, and rightly so, because we've seen some really good performances from them. We always find it difficult, against Scotland, and we're always really proud of any type of victory that we come up against the Scots, because we know how difficult it's always going to be. And Greg is a great coach, and they've got some great players as well. So, what was it, 1912 the last time that we played against them, and it always tends to be close. So we was pretty pleased with that victory. And was it a surprise to us that they went to Twickenham and come away with it with that victory? Within that game, they grew their belief, didn't they? 100%, and got a couple of key players back for them as well. So I think they've always been a tough old side to beat, and it'll be no different for us on Sunday.
And what's success now in the next two matches? What is success from your opinion, and from your squad's opinion?
2 wins, 2 good performances. That's what we're after.
Thanks.
Andy, can I just ask about the back three? Obviously, it was competitive there, and Jordan came in the last game. Keith is back. What does Keith keep bringing on the wing for Ireland?
His know-how, his organisation of the back line in all different aspects of play. He's certainly a leader in many regards of backfield play, edge defence play. He's great under the high ball. He's still as quick as ever and still as sharp as ever. And I think there's good competition with Jacob coming back as well. There's good competition that's happening there on the wing and at fullback.
And can I just ask you about that bench again? How excited are you about what a pretty dynamic bunch of players can do?
Yeah, it's more and more so these days. It's becoming a full squad game, and those guys will certainly make an impact. We're super excited about the bench coming on and making a difference. There's some of those guys that we're really disappointed not to make the starting side, but they'll add and make a difference to the performance. There's no doubt about that.
Cheers.
Okay, guys, Barry, are you trying to get in there?
Yeah, just briefly. Thanks, David. Hi, Andy. Hope you're well.
Good,
I just
thanks.
wanted to ask you, what are the qualities Jemison brings to the team, you think? And has he progressed a lot since you gave him his first cap?
He has progressed a lot. Obviously, he was new to international rugby, and he's had some pretty. Although his international career has been quite short, he's had some pretty big experiences going away to Twickenham and being involved in some big games for us. He's more comfortable in his role in and around the side. He understands what it takes now to be a top class international scrum half and deal with the pressures of the game, and he understands the difference between the club game and the international game. So he's thriving. He's thriving in the role. What does he bring? He brings tempo, doesn't he? He brings a little bit of off the cuff type feel to the game. He plays the game that's in front of him, etc. He's dynamic. He's got good footwork, and he can ask some questions of any type of defence. So, and his game control's pretty good on the back of that. So it's a nice package to have.